What's up, guys? This is just a debate, okay? Just a free stuff. We want to know: is federal government should we blame the federal government of Nigeria, or we should blame the students? I am supporting the motion that the students should be blamed, not federal government. And that guy there is going to oppose me in this debate. Now let's see who gives enough points. Let's see who gives the most convincing point here in this debate. It's obviously going to go on my YouTube channel. So if you are seeing this video on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get my future podcast or debates. Let's get started now. Are you set? We're coming. Okay, now who is going to start first? Are you going to start first, or I'm going to start first? So you choose. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you. You said what?
I said, are you going to start first, or I'm going to start first?
Okay, yeah, start first. Like, since you are proposing,
Okay.
start first, then I oppose.
Okay. Now, here is it right now. The reason I'm saying students should be blamed is this. The first point I have to give is this. Students have weak minds. That's the first point I have to give. They have weak minds because I think we have the tools, although the tools we have, the tools the federal government gives to us may not be sufficient or abundant, but I just think we have to. The school we have is a tool. The secondary school is a tool, but how many people are using the tools we have today to change the world? So my first point is this: students should be blamed for the unemployment and different things in Nigeria, and not federal government. Why? Because they fail to use the tools they have due to weak minds. That's my point. So what do you have to say?
Okay. Even though I didn't get the point clearly because of the result wasn't clear enough. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. I think that the federal government is to blame for what's happening today in Nigeria because they don't create environment that is enabling for students to thrive. Like, students may have the skill, they may have all to put into work to be great in life, but when you have all this skill but you don't have the environment that supports the skill, it's difficult for you to thrive. It's difficult for those skills to flourish as a student. So for that reason, I think that the federal government is to blame because students who have these talents, who have the skill, who have dreams, aspirations, want to make it big in life, without an environment that enables their dream to thrive, they can hardly thrive. Yeah.
Okay. So you are saying the government did not provide enabling environment, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you said. No enabling environment. But can you give me an example of like the no enabling environment? What do you mean by that? What are you pointing at? Is it poor school we have, or what? What are you trying to call the no enabling environment?
Okay. In one aspect where there is no enabling environment, like sometimes these students have some special things they can do. Like somebody may have skill in computer science, computer programming, but the support from the government is so minimal. And there is no industry made by the government where they can apply all those skills. Like I heard of a particular incident that happened. A student in his project, he was able to make a helicopter. He was able to make helicopters as kind of his research stuff. And he tried to push that on social media. Like it went on Facebook, it went viral on Facebook. Then our government saw it. Nobody gave that guy a call. Nobody gave him a call. For 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight, nobody gave him a call. It was a school in the US that called this guy to offer him a scholarship. Then such a person with that skill, there is no industry outside, there is no place where that skill can be harnessed because government failed to provide such places where skills can be harnessed. So this is one way where government does not provide enabling environment to make the skills students have to thrive.
Okay, I get you really well. Like you explained your point really well. I get you really well. But here's what I'm saying. Nigeria is operating a mixed economy, partially capitalist, right? It's operating a mixed economy. So I think even if the government, we know the government, I agree to your point saying the government does not gives us minimal support. I agree. So now, but what I'm saying is this: if the students can understand that we're in almost a capitalist economy, why can't the student himself or herself try to harness his own skill or her own skill so that he himself probably can set up a business about the helicopter here and there, this and that. So that's what I'm saying. Why can't students do that? It's because their minds are weak. That's my second point.
Okay, why can't students use the skill even though government doesn't
Support
them,
them,
right?
yes.
Okay, so, sometimes for this is to work, sometimes students may need some kind of sponsorship. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so they will need kind of support. It may be financial support, it can be moral support, and all that. So some students may not be able to afford the support by themselves, and they need a kind of a framework, a backbone from the government. So the economy here is mainly for the government. A student who has this skill now, who needs to start up this in himself, may not be able to apply only the skill. The skill alone cannot go far to help the students. So in the area of needing support financially and all that, the students can't do it all alone. That's why the government has to come into play here.
Okay, so my third point is this. I always give my third point is this. The students, they are over depending on the government. They are over depending on the government. Meet 10 students or 50 students. 45 of them are going to tell you that the government is at fault for their own lives. That's what I'm trying to say, for their own lives. 45 of them are going to tell you that. So why don't students sometimes blame themselves? Why don't you blame yourself? You have opportunity to set up your own business. So why wait for sponsorship of the government? Because even in the US, the government does not sponsor everything you see in the US. The government doesn't sponsor them. The US is even mainly capitalist economy where you have private ownership of businesses. So if you're telling me the government is a major factor for the success of students, then I disagree with you, because if the government was a major factor, then in countries like the US, you won't be having private ownership of businesses. So what are you trying to say then?
To be honest, like I didn't hear what the questions very well because of the network. I don't know if you can repeat.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying there is over dependence on the government, because students here everybody just blame the government for no reason. There's excessive blame on the government. Why don't students themselves take responsibility for their own lives? Because if you say the US right now, for instance, if you say the government is what plays plays important role in making their students successful over there, then if that's true, then they won't be having a capitalist economy. In the US over there, private ownership of business is what you see there mainly. So private ownership of business, you set up the business on your own with your own money without the help of the government. So I don't think the government is a factor of the student's success. I think the students themselves over here in Nigeria are over depending on the government. So that's my point. That's why students should be blamed.
Okay. You are saying that like in a place where there's kind of where people are not dependent on governments, like they can do this on their own, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That can be more on certificates. So when the students now do this on their own without getting this expertise in the school environment, in the form of the university, they get a skill outside the university. Their chances of having jobs to get jobs is very, very slim, seeing the kind of country we live in. So that support from government to schools also still come to play here. I don't know if I got the angle from which you asked the question because.
Okay. So you're saying that okay, I get you clearly. But I think here's what I think right now. I think we should blame the government. You should blame students more because, for instance, you said something. You said over here we value certificate. But certificate is a reflection, or certificate gives an insight on how intelligent a child is. So, and that's one thing. But you also said that school is is something that we need. Okay, but Nigeria, we have schools here. So if we have schools here, then it's a tool that we can use. So that is really important. Okay. But do you have any point to give? Do you have any point to give?
Okay, in Nigeria we have schools actually, yeah, we have schools, but these schools are not well equipped. Like the things that are needed for learning to take place are not given by the so-called governments. Yeah, so the schools there was the apparatus what students need to learn effectively are not there. So in that case, that's still where the government still have some faults.
Okay, so you say so. I want you to mention some schools that you think are not well equipped.
Sorry?
I want to mention some schools that you think are not well equipped.
Okay, I should mention schools that are not equipped.
Yes.
Okay, now being equipped may not be, maybe they don't have anything at all. Now, in Nigeria, there are courses students go to study. Those courses have no application outside the school environment. Courses like astronomy, physics, forensic science. Some courses have no application. After studying for 4 or 5 years in school, you come out, you are almost useless. You don't know what to do with those courses. Because there are no industries where you can find materials where those courses can be applied. So that's what I mean by school. With the students to have the practical knowledge of it's just theory. So that is where government fails sometimes. There are no schools per se. Schools who at least have laboratory, have equipment to an extent. What is now the usefulness of those disciplines which are of the school? Somebody who goes to school, study forensic science, study this, you come out, you can't apply it anywhere because the equipment, facilities in the school are not good enough in the school. Also, outside the school, you don't see places where you can apply all those knowledge. So with that, I think that's where the government is, faulting.
Okay. Now I think that here's another point. Putting the blame on the government takes power away from you. Like what you just said, you said there are no places to use the skill, right? When you get them from the school. Now, what if you can create an environment the environment that you need to use that skill in? What if you can create that environment? But in this our black society, they've taught everybody to become job seekers. What they taught everybody is go to school, graduate, and get a job. And they taught everybody. So people are not actually focusing on how to create environment for them to use their knowledge. Rather, they're focusing on how to get out of school and look for job. So that's what I'm talking about. So students should be blamed, and I'm serious about this. Students should be 100% blamed. And another reason is because of the poor parenting strategies that they do use on students over here. That's the simple truth. Because they've taught many students here, go to school, graduate, get a job, get a job, get a job. They're not teaching the child how to create the enabling environment. You can create the environment you need. You have that power. But blaming the government takes this power away from you. That is why we have weak students around. That's why we have weak students graduating college every single year. We have a bunch of students graduating college, but how many of them are actually bringing out something? How many of them invent something tangible? They always invent and wait for sponsorship. How many of them do that? There's a podcast I watched, Impact Theory. The guy says something, a white guy from the Western world. He said we don't depend on the economy. We make the economy. Whether the economy is bad or good, what we need to do right now, increase our satisfaction or the satisfaction we give to customers, we are definitely going to get money flowing in. How many students talk like this? Well, if you say the government is at fault, if all students say is the government is at fault, it shuts down their brain. It makes their brain stop to think. So here is my point. The poor parenting strategies we have, and also the excessive blame on the government, is what has shut the brain of students to make them appear very, very weak. So that is a point that I have to give, to show that students should be actually blamed for their unemployment and everything, and not the federal government.
Okay, you are saying that if the government fail to create environment, students have the ability to go create the environment they want.
Yes.
Like create the economy they want to see.
You have the power.
Okay, you may be right on that. Yeah, you know, I think that things like this are easier said than done. Things like this it's easy to say it than to practice it. Now, actually, people have the power to create what they want to create, and this power is also from ideas. Ideas are so powerful that if you have them, they can change the world. If you have ideas, so these ideas now that people have thrive more when they're in a school environment. Then how can somebody put this idea into good use when the school are always on and off? Talking about the ASU strike. Students may be in the school environment, and it's kind of thoughts that they create in the school environment. You know, they think very well in the school environment. They think on how to do great things in the school environment. But somebody spends some months in school having the ideas. Before you know it, they're out of school because of ASU strike. That idea may simply fade away. It may get lost. Because when somebody's outside school, all they think about is how they can make money. That idea, they'll simply divert that into business thinking on how to venture into business to make use of the time they stay at home during the ASU strike. So that also is a factor. You know, it's a factor caused by the federal government as they are unable to settle this ASU people. Students are not always in school, so those ideas that they can bring to school, they lose it outside the school environment. So speaking of the idea you talked about, the government has a role to play to make those ideas in the students to come into fruition. Because if the students can stay in that place where they can create ideas for long, they can do nothing with those beautiful ideas of making the world a bigger place or making the economy what they want to see or creating that enabling environment if they can't stay in school for long. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good, but yeah, that's good. You knocked me down. Okay, that's good. So yeah. Okay. Now it boils down to, okay, yes, another thing I gotta say right now. You are saying that the students need to stay in the environment, right? Like they need to stay in that environment for a very long time in order for them to change the world, or bring out something that will change the world, right? Right? Okay. So now you are saying that knowledge is what, from what you said, I can pick out that you mean knowledge is what can change the world, right?
Ideas.
Okay, knowledge and ideas. But I am saying they don't need that. They need it although, but they don't need that to the extent to which they think they need it. What I'm saying is they need creativity instead. Creativity. And for instance now, creativity, that's what they need, that's what I'm saying. That's what students need. Now this goes down to the other point I have. The next point I have. The next point I have is this. When, okay, for instance, let's say somebody invents something here in Nigeria. Students should know their duty. Okay, the next point I have is students over here in Nigeria don't know their duty. They don't know their duty. Number one duty of students is this: when you invent something, you are to make that thing work. It's your duty to make that thing succeed. It's your duty. But over here, the opposite is what kicks in. Once somebody invests something, all he wants is he thinks it's not his duty to make it work, so he just relax and wait for sponsor and wait for investors. Like, you don't need those shades. You don't need them. So if you are talking about sponsorship, can you tell me 10 people, 10 popular individuals in the Western world that got sponsorship from their government?
10 people that's calling them, please.
Can you tell me 10 popular, successful individuals that got sponsorship from their government in the Western world?
Got scholarship for the government for the Western world.
Yes, sponsorship. According to what you say, sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
Yes.
From the Western world.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at people like not like they got sponsorship directly from the government, but the government has already created an environment that will make whatever dream they have to thrive easily. Let's look at people like Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. Assuming that guy went to like a school in Nigeria where the staff union of universities are always on strike, the ASU are always on strike. Then if he had gotten that idea that he got a school, because he got the idea of making Facebook a school, where was the school? It's not like he got that idea out of school. So school has a very important role to play. Now, he got the idea of creating Facebook in school. Assuming he got the idea in a school like in Nigeria, can that idea of creating Facebook, rise into a great innovation as we have today?
Yeah, I think so. I think it can. I think so.
Huh?
I think it can.
It can try.
Yes.
It can.
Yes.
In Nigeria.
Yes. Nigeria is not a bad place. Nigeria is not a bad place. The people make it appear bad. That is it. This is never a bad place, because even in the US you're talking about, it's not the economy is not that 100% perfect, but people over there don't give excuses. That is why the economy appears something that is perfect. There were challenges he encountered too, many different struggles, but he didn't make excuses, and he didn't stop. That's what I'm saying. So it can thrive here. It would have thrived here if he had done it here.
No, it cannot thrive.
Why do you think so?
People in this Western world, actually, the economy is not perfect there, and they don't give excuses. Because when you have nothing to complain about, you won't complain. When you have nothing, when there's no issue to give excuse about, there is no point giving excuse. You understand? Now, the economy is not perfect, but the government supports some kind of dream. People like Bill Gates, who own Microsoft, people who do businesses there, they do it because their kind of government supports what they do. So they have no reason to give excuse. But in Nigeria here, when the dreams die, not that people don't have the skill or they don't have an interest to pursue what they want to pursue, but they don't have the wherewithal to go about bringing all those skills into fruition, to add beauty to those skills. That's one thing with Nigeria. That's one thing with the government. That's why the government is to blame. Students, we are smart. We are smart in Nigeria. We have abilities.
I don't think we are smart.
In Nigeria.
I don't think we are smart.
If you go to,
I don't think we are smart.
you say?
I don't think we are smart.
We are smart.
I don't think so.
I'll give you an instance.
Okay.
I'll give you an instance. We hear about the case of this guy
Okay.
Who was able to hack into the system of some companies.
But that's not the definition for what
It
this.
takes smartness.
It doesn't take smart. It's
Smartness
foolishness.
to
It
be able to
takes.
do that.
It's foolishness. It takes.
Now, wait.
Okay.
It takes smart intelligence, right? Right?
Yeah.
Intelligence.
It takes foolishness.
It takes smartness.
It's a lie.
To be able to do that.
It's
Now,
not smartness. It takes.
Imagine all these people we call Yahoo boys. Hello.
I can hear
All
you.
these people we call Yahoo boys in Nigeria. Imagine if the government tries to help them, try to bring them into, let's say, computer science in schools, try to give them good IT knowledge. I think they can put all those ideas into good use.
Okay.
And create something good in Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Let me give a point.
Governments don't care. They don't care about the students. They don't care.
Okay. Yes, but you remember that a goat will bleed here too, right? Goats bleed in Africa, right? If you take goats to the Western world, they are still gonna bleed too. So even if you provide an enabling environment, those people you are pointing at, they are still gonna use it in a bad way. We're definitely gonna have criminals in society. We're definitely gonna have. So like what I'm saying is this, even most, like you've heard it, that people from here, if you go to the Western world, you find many people that are in jail are from the black race. Okay, but why isn't the environment there conducive? But why are they still imprisoned? They are in a white country, right? The country that they think is perfect. But why are they still imprisoned? The environment is good, it's conducive there. Then why are they still imprisoned? It's because it is in the nature of the people. It's in the nature of them to just do what's bad. It is in their nature. That's what I'm saying. It's their nature. The country here is not a bad place. Even if you bring the Western people to come and dominate this place, this Nigeria, it's going to change automatically. Why? Because there are different beliefs that are going to kick out many different stuff. That's going to change. The country is going to change automatically. But if you take this present black people we have here to the Western world, they're going to destroy it. So I'm saying that it's in their nature. They're naturally just bad. Majority of them, they're naturally just bad. So that's the point.
Okay, yeah, I got your point. But
so you
can always say that in every 12, I don't know if you've heard that saying, in every 12, there must be a Judas, right?
Yeah.
Now, amongst every group of persons, there are the bad people, there are the serious ones, the good ones too. They are the good ones.
Okay.
Now, they are so that even if you provide everything, they choose to remain bad, they'll be bad, and they will never make anything happen. But there are people who want to make this happen deep in them, but they are not enabled to make things happen. They have that passion, they have that interest, they have that zeal to make this happen, to effect the change. Now, somebody has a zeal to make this happen. Then, in this our current country now, where ASU is always on strike, somebody who wants to get knowledge in a particular discipline and wants to make this happen, how can a person make the things happen in this place? If you create an environment where people can actually learn freely, learn without any issue, without any hitches, they can actually convert those ideas in them into good things. Now, I'll give you an example. I read biochemistry in school.
Okay.
I read biochemistry in school. Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Now, students are given this handbook in every department. In the handbook, you see all your course outlines for the whole period you spend in school.
Okay.
Each semester before school resumes, if I go through the handbook, I see some interesting courses. I see some interesting topics that will learn. I'll be kind of happy. Oh, after this semester, I will know this. I will be a biochemistry. I will be this. I will be that. I was having that feeling. Like I will see genetic engineering as a course, microbiology as a course, biotech as a course, forensic science as a course. All those beautiful names. Then I will have this high feeling that hey, I'm going to be a guru in biochemistry. Then at the end of it all, these quality lecturers only come to the class, dictate notes without teaching. They don't teach without teaching.
Okay.
So people who go to Nigerian schools are almost half-baked. Like you just graduate, there is nothing you can offer because of the environment, the atmosphere. You don't have enough practical. Somebody who has computer science can't even operate the system of the computer. Like they struggle. They struggle because of the environment. Now I'm saying all these things are there. All these things are there. I think people will thrive. Let's say in the Western world, people are exposed to computer as early as their teenage.
Yeah.
You see some young people
Yeah.
use computer, use laptop in school.
Yeah.
They use laptop. Such a student who use laptop from let's say 6 years, 7 years, 8 years and above. You will grow up into a smart person.
Yeah.
You will grow up into a smart person. Yes, because he's been exposed to all these things. And being exposed to it now, you will now understand the in-depth part, not even on the periphery. The in-depth things that he can think on what he can do with that thing he has been exposed to. But here, somebody as old as 20 something can't even use the computer because of our poor system.
Okay, that's your point, and that's really cool. That's really cool. Like it's getting tough now, and that's really cool. That's really cool. But you said you studied biochemistry, right? Didn't they give you textbooks?
Sorry?
Didn't you said you studied biochemistry, right? But I am sure you were given. I'm sure you were given textbooks. So if you were given textbooks, I am sure the power to create things is not yet eliminated. Because if you have the textbooks, you yourself as a student, if you know why you are there, you are going to hold the textbook down and try and bring something out of the textbook by yourself. So what I'm saying is, you should not still blame the government, because you can still read on your own, provided we know the government is not providing enabling environment. I agree to what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this: that is not a reason. Why? Because the textbooks are there. The textbooks are there, so you can get the textbooks, read them, practice them, practice what you see in there. Okay.
Now, the textbooks are there, sure, and to you expect us to learn on ourselves, by ourselves.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Yes. Now, everybody is not the same. Some persons may have that, move, they push to go and learn on themselves without depending on the lecturers. That's one thing. But not everybody would have that drive to go and acquire that learning by themselves. Not everybody will have that drive to go. Now, those ones who want to depend on the lecturers are not wrong, because if there are textbooks and there are students, and the teachers expect students to teach themselves, what is then the role of the teachers? Why are they paid? Why are they even going on strike? Why are they paid? They are paid to teach. They are paid to make these people better. Somebody who wants to study medicine and surgery and depends only on textbook will end up killing people in the hospital. A doctor, a quack nurse, because you need a guide. Textbook is not enough. There are textbooks, but you need somebody to explain to you the concepts in that textbook. So if a student of medicine depends only on textbook with no practical, no effective learning in the classroom, they will end up in hospitals becoming quack. That's why our leaders today, when they are sick, they don't get treatment in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They leave Nigeria to overseas to get treatment, because it's what they created. It's what they created. They created a school that can produce qualified doctors and nurses. For that reason, they can't risk their life. If Nigeria is that good, they would be having treatment in our hospitals. But the system is bad. They know it. It's bad, and it's the reason why we are not thriving.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So now you saying the lecturers in school that they don't teach, right? Okay. Now if the lecturers don't teach, then you should not blame the government. Is the government at fault? Is the government the one telling them not to teach? Is their bad nature? That's what I'm saying. It's in their nature not just to do it. They don't feel like inspiring the young generation. They don't feel like contributing positively, probably because of their toxic beliefs they have or one other thing. Many of them are lecturers because of money. Many of them are not lecturers because they want to drop something to the world. So I don't think the lecturers not teaching is not the fault of the government. It's not from the government. It's from the evil nature or the bad nature or the or not well trained minds of the lecturers. That's what I'm saying. So what do you have to say?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that some lecturer may be bad per se, some may be lazy per se, but these people now they are in a group. They're in a group called ASU,
Okay.
Academic Staff Union of Universities. This is the
Yeah.
group that they belong to. So them being in this group, you only join the group, you don't join them individually. They have grievances now that the government is not paying them, that they work, they receive no pay. They had agreement with the government. The government is failing to honor that agreement. So you don't judge these lecturers individually. You judge them now as a group, as ASU.
Okay.
Effectively. Government is to tackle that issue, tackle the issue, to know what their grievances are and solve the issue so that they will function effectively. So if they don't, you don't blame them individually. You just check what is the real problem with that group, that entire group of ASU. So if government can tackle that issue, if strike can be called off, and this strike, if this strike always, happens in Nigeria stops, I think our school system will improve. It will improve. Because I know what I'm talking about. I've been in school. I know people who are in the school environment, they think in a different way. They think about what they can do. Even all these people we see, we think that they, became big without school. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and all that. That we just say that they are dropouts. They once were in school. They were in school. It was in school that those ideas were created. Bill Gates couldn't have had Microsoft. Zuckerberg couldn't have had Facebook without going to school. Facebook began because of kind of a play he was playing with his friends on how they can make a kind of an app that will capture people's face.
I know about that.
He now saw how big it was in school. It expanded. So school is very, very important. Government see how vital school is, should know the issue with ASU, why they are, going against the government, why they are always on strike, and try to solve this problem once and for all. If school runs smoothly in Nigeria, somebody who wants to, study a course of, let's say, 4 years or 5 years, then the person will have to spend 6, 7, 8 years in school. Do you think that the person will graduate with a sound mind? No. The mind has been messed up. The person will come out not even trying to practice that he has learned in school. That's why our youth are not being functional. People lose interest in the course of schooling. They lose interest. Some language, they hustle to make things out of life. If I hustle, somebody who is into engineering will just keep that thing. They won't practice it. They are into other side hustles to make the money, to atlas the money. That's why most youth today say that school is a scam. So those who say that school is a scam is for a reason. Those who have been in school have nothing to show for it because the government does not, create an environment for them to thrive after schooling.
Okay. That's a big stuff. What you said is really, really cool. And we're getting to the end of it all. And like we said, it's just gonna be 44 minutes, 45 minutes, we're done. This is 39 minutes now. We're almost done. And you said students after some time, probably you have 4 years course, due to strike, it may extend to 5 or 6 years. So you lose interest, time is against you, you have to find money to take care of yourself and start a family, this and that. That can destroy creativity. We know that can also make a student not to use what he has been given in the school. That's a good point. And I agree to that. But is it all students? This strike of 18, I don't. It's like I know it barely occurs. Like as always strike. That's something, okay. And so you're saying that could be stopped. So what I'm saying right now, here is the last point I have to give now. Students should train their minds, should train themselves and plan for their future. Because the majority of them who are in school now don't have any plans. Majority of them were just pushed into school. No plans, no training of the minds. How many of them read self-development books? The Richest Man in Babylon. How many of them read those books? Think and Grow Rich. How many of them read those books? Those are books outside school that can make a man. There are many people who did not go to school but read those books and they became somebody in life. They became people in life, important individuals in life. So what I'm saying is this, the last point I have is this: students should go retrain their minds. They should go train their minds and plan for their future. Before you go into school, before you go to the university, your home is no exception. You can still be creative right in your home. You don't need the school environment to be creative. You can still be creative right in your home. So the students should plan for their own lives. You go into school, what are you going to accomplish in the next 2 years? Have a plan. Set up a small business of your own. It could be online business. Have a plan. Majority of students don't act in this way. They just go to school with the mindset of when they graduate, they are going to find something to do. And that is what has led to what we are seeing today in our society. So what I'm saying, Nigerian students should train their minds. Read books about your emotions. How many students over here know about brain science? About emotions, feelings, everything? How many of them? We have almost zero of them knowing about this stuff, about brain science, emotions, but there are books out there on them. How many of them go to bookshops and buy books? You don't even need to buy nowadays. You can borrow books from your friends. Self-development books, pure ones. The Richest Man in Babylon. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How many of them educate themselves? So what I'm saying is, students should go train their minds with self-development books, like the ones I've recommended, and they should plan for their future. For me now, I got a plan, not 25 years, what I want to do. And I'm working towards it silently. It's obviously going to become a reality very soon. So that's what I'm saying. So students don't plan for their lives. School is not a life changer when you just get into it and it's going to change your life overnight. You got to plan. This is your plan that is going to make it look like a life changer. So that's what I'm saying. That's my last point. So I want to give your last point right now. We're calling it quits right now. Your last point, please.
Okay. My last point, I would like to continue from where you stopped.
Okay.
Somehow to oppose it somehow and also to support it somehow too.
Okay.
It's good to plan, to have a plan for your life.
Yes.
And this plan can come in a way of trying to develop yourself, right?
Yes.
Acquiring skills too.
Yeah.
Then if that's good. That's wonderful. That's so fantastic. That's fantastic. Students should think on how to add to themselves, develop their minds, acquire skills, think outside the box.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Then if people read books for self-development, if they think outside the box, we'll end up having businessmen, having authors, having counselors, having all this. But not all these things. There are some specific things that need formal education. There are some specific fields that need school to thrive. For example, medicine, like I always say, medicine needs school. One, law, being a lawyer as well, you need school. You can't do without school. So if we are think big, read books, you can't become a doctor by reading Think and Grow Rich. You can't become a doctor by reading The Richest Man in Babylon, all those books.
Yeah.
So some of these fields need formal education to happen. Law, medicine, and some part of engineering, you need to be in school for you to get the knowledge about all these things. Skills are good, but skills are not sufficient. They are not sufficient.
Okay. So that's all. We're calling it quiz right now. Time is up.
Yeah.
Time is up. So I'm gonna give my 30 seconds. If you have 30 seconds, what would you say to the world? I'm gonna give you that time. I want to give my own now. Now, here is my advice. Here is what I have to say. Okay, if you have 30 seconds to talk to people, what would you tell them?
Sorry?
If you had 30 seconds to tell people, to talk to people, students, whether students or federal government, what would you say to them? Yes, what will you say to them? You have to be fast, please.
to the government,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, what would you say to them?
Okay. If I have that privilege to speak to the federal government, what I would say is they should place more premium on education. Countries like Dubai, South Africa, and all that, they give more money to education. Nigeria only gives 5% of the budget in a year to education, which is very, very poor. Some countries give as much as 20%, 26%, but Nigeria gives only 5%. Even in that 5, they still owe teachers and lecturers. Our schools are not well equipped. It's not well funded. So I would advise them, the government, to add, like, to spend more money on education because it's a bedrock of any nation. You see Russia today, they have nuclear weapons. They have weapons. America today we know as the world power. North Korea, they are making missiles and all that. All these things were made in school. They were developed in school. They wouldn't have gotten to that point without school. Russia, that was the first country ever to go to the space. It was school. It was science, real schooling, that made them to be able to send the first one to the space. The US that have NASA is a school stuff. So for us to also get to that level, as we compete with all these countries, we have to go back to our school system and do the needful. That's the advice I would say. Do the needful. Put money there. Support them. Improve their technicality, equip their laboratory and everything, and employ those who are qualified for the job. And place more premium on school, then the country will be better. That's the advice I have for the government.
Okay, so that's a brilliant one. We're calling it quits right now. Everyone is watching right now. This is just the end of the stuff right now. I know you have something to learn from it. You that are watching, you have definitely something to pick from it and just use it to improve your life and move on. Like that is it. So this is all we have. Thanks, Christain, for being on my show. Until next time. Bye. Thanks. Now, this is all we have for today's debate. I have an ebook, How to Play the Game of Life, where in case you're depressed, you're sad, a video of your life, you're a student, this my ebook is going to change your life. It's pretty cheap, it's not expensive. All you got to do is contact me. This ebook cost 2,000 naira for you to get it. How to play the game of life where, and I'm gonna, after you pay for the ebook, I'm gonna give you the ebook. I'm gonna send videos over to you to really explain each chapter to you and how you can actually harness it and use it to make your life unstoppable. The truth is this: if you don't work on yourself, don't expect another person to work on you. And if you don't work on yourself, no amount of education you get will be meaningful in your life. So you gotta invest in yourself, work in yourself. The reason you see this is possible is because I worked on myself. Now you love it, right? You want more. I'm gonna give more. I'm gonna deliver more. I don't need your help. So you guys gotta use it. Doing this stuff is for your own good. It's 2,000 naira. Get started.